It's pretty evident to everyone that things are hard out there. With consumer prices at the highest level they've ever been this entire generation, desperately low wages, and persistent supply chain problems, it seems like we're all struggling to make ends meet and trying to stretch our dollars as far as we can these days. A brand new survey released yesterday by retail technology platform Swiftly found that nearly 70% of Americans are struggling to pay their grocery bills, and around 83% are currently relying on some form of coupons or loyalty program to put food on the table. Over the past year, food inflation rose by 12.4%, but we're all seeing much steeper price increases at our local stores. Some grocery items have doubled or tripled in price in recent months, and now several food manufacturers are warning that a new round of price hikes is coming in 2023. Sadly, millions of families out there are already having to make some tough decisions and cut some of their favorite foods from their grocery lists as their monthly budgets continue to shrink. Today we have compiled some of the products that have experienced the highest spikes in prices and that are becoming increasingly unaffordable for virtually all Americans. Before checking this list, please support our work with a thumbs up on this video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Without further ado, here are 20 grocery items many Americans can't afford to buy anymore. 1. Eggs. Eggs are one of the most versatile foods we can find out there. We can prepare them in a number of ways or incorporate them into many different recipes. Plus, they're an important source of protein and collagen, two substances that are essential for good functioning of our bodies. But who could ever imagine that in a couple of years, the price of eggs would rise up to 125% in some stores? Official inflation numbers say that on average, egg prices rose by almost 40% this year, but many of us are seeing the cost of this staple going even higher at our local supermarkets. And that's because consumer demand is oftentimes outpacing the available supply. Unfortunately, the era of cheap eggs is over. More price increases are expected in 2023. 2. Flour. This year, the world lost two of its main grain suppliers, Russia and Ukraine. The conflict between the two countries is causing severe losses in all imaginable ways, and it's also affecting the food we put on our tables. Since global supplies of wheat has sharply shrunk, the cost of producing flour and all other food items with that ingredient have jumped to levels never before seen. According to Bloomberg, flour inflation is the worst on record. Numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that between August 2021 and August 2022, flour prices rose by 23%. 3. Bread. One of the direct consequences brought on by a tighter supply of flour and higher costs was the insane surge in bread prices. I bet you never imagined that you'd be paying $10 for a normal, completely plain loaf of white bread at the grocery store. A couple of years back, you would only disburse that amount if you were buying some sort of artisanal bread with special ingredients. It's safe to say the times have changed. 4. Fresh vegetables. Healthy food has never been so expensive. Fresh vegetables are key in any diet. They provide the nutrition we need for a balanced life, so it's really upsetting to see that the price of fresh vegetables has gone up so substantially. Official numbers show that the cost of fresh produce has soared by an average of 14.37% in October, but the price of specific veggies has experienced even higher increases. 5. Frozen dinners. Frozen meals used to be a convenient and economical choice, but that's no longer the case, at least not entirely. Although the convenience part still can't be denied, the cost-saving part is definitely questionable right now. IRI data reveals that the price per unit for frozen foods rose by an average of 14.2% last month, nearly double the inflation rate. That's certainly a painful increase for many American families. 6. Ice cream. Combining the effect of higher prices for frozen goods and dairy products, ice cream prices are up by 12.5% from a year ago. Believe it or not, that's a trend that's been gaining force since the 1970s. According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, ice cream's been suffering from two large scoops of inflation. Prices are 286.68% higher in 2022 versus 1977, and that marks a $57.34 difference in value. Funny fact here, during Ice Cream Day in June, Whole Foods offered a $25 coupon for ice cream purchases higher than $100. 7. Butter. Another victim of the relentless rise in milk and dairy prices is butter. We all love some smooth, silky butter on top of our toast or over a pile of pancakes. Butter is also a staple for baking and for many everyday recipes that we grew up with. However, this beloved product has become a luxury. Now you'll have to pay 24.6% more than a year ago if you want to bring some butter home with you. 8. Soda. With all major soft drink producers struggling with an industry-wide shortage of carbon dioxide, you're not only paying more for soda, but also at risk of seeing your favorite flavors disappearing from shelves and not coming back. Food manufacturers are focusing on best-selling products and dismissing some non-traditional flavors due to the worsening shortage. On top of that, in October, shoppers had to pay 13% more for soda compared to a year ago. According to data compiled by USA Today, soda prices have risen by 45% in the past 4 years. 9. Candy. Bloomberg has reported that right before Halloween, candy prices soared by an average of 13.1% all across the nation. The rate of price increases has nearly doubled since June, climbing by 2% just last month alone, according to the Consumer Price Index. The rapid rise reflects increased sugar costs, which have surged due to extreme weather, energy costs, and supply chain issues. The CPI index for sugar and sugar substitutes has risen by 17.1% since last year. 10. Beef. With the U.S. beef cattle herd shrinking faster than expected while demand remains steady, beef prices have jumped on average by 22% compared to a year ago. Even though steak was never the cheapest meal option for most families, we could still have it on special occasions. But now that costs have soared to extraordinary highs, meat has become too out of reach for many households. 11. Avocados. A shortage of fruit that started earlier this year is making it harder to find avocados in grocery stores. Moreover, disruption in the production and delivery of Mexican avocados has also contributed to the prices we're seeing right now. Avocados are 44% more expensive than a year ago, and that's after falling from the 114% spike in price seen in June. 12. Coffee. Widespread crop losses have resulted in a record drop in global coffee production in 2022. Brazil, one of the biggest coffee exporters to the U.S., has faced extreme weather events that led this year's harvest to decline between 20% and 30%, according to agro-intelligence data. Consumers are definitely getting sticker shock at the stores, with coffee prices rising up to 76%. Many Americans are now unable to afford this breakfast staple. 13. Seafood. Extreme weather and warmer temperatures have also been responsible for an acute increase in the cost of seafood. In the past, we used to resort to seafood when we couldn't afford to buy other meats, but right now, they're almost as pricey as some meat cuts. In November, seafood prices were up by an average of 18.8%, according to official estimates. 14. Bacon. We're just gonna give it to you straight. The cost of bacon has shot up by 40% over the past year. A couple of years ago, who'd have thought that this greasy breakfast treat would be considered a luxury? That's all thanks to the combination of a lower meat supply and labor shortages at meat processing plants. Compared to 2020, we're paying 68% more for bacon. 15. Fresh fruit. We all need to eat fresh fruit on a regular basis to boost our immune system and provide our bodies with the necessary nutrients to keep our health in check. But that doesn't mean we can all afford to buy them. Fruit of any kind will cost you an average of 14% more than a year ago. To make things worse, frozen fruits have been hit by inflation as well, rising 12% since 2021. 16. For many families out there, cereals have become way too expensive to buy on a regular basis. Over the past year, prices have surged 25%, but it seems that they're about to soar even higher in the months ahead. In November, General Mills, the maker of Cheerios, Wheaties, and Lucky Charms, announced that it'll hike prices on its products by up to 20%. 17. Chocolate. According to Reed Cacao, chocolate is typically made of cocoa beans, cocoa butter, milk, and sugar, but half of those ingredients are facing shortages and price surges at the moment. According to a report published by Fox Business, since July, chocolate lovers are cutting back on purchases of the sweet treat amid an 8.2% rise in prices. Demand has been dropping by an average of 3% per month. In the third quarter, Mondelez, the global snack brand that makes Toblerone, Cadbury, and others, said that inflationary pressures will force the company to readjust prices in 2023. 18. Granola bars. Granola bars used to be a great snack that was both healthy and cheap, and we could have on the go. But now with the cost of oats and nuts at record highs, this beloved treat is getting unaffordable for many Americans. In the past 12 months, the price of a box of granola bars is up around 21%. Needless to say, that's a painful spike for the wallets of many. 19. Potato chips. For those who love to munch on a bag of potato chips when they're feeling extra hungry, we're sorry to say they're getting even more expensive. After a 14% rise recorded over the 9 months ending in September, food makers like PepsiCo, Kraft Foods, and Kellogg's have announced that prices are expected to go up an additional 6% by mid-2023 due to a weaker than expected potato harvest and a significant jump in vegetable oil prices. 20. Chicken. We've all noticed how insanely high chicken prices have gotten this year. Our national egg-laying chicken flock decreased by an estimated 100 million birds due to an outbreak of avian influenza. Across the country, the cost of chicken has gone up by about 20.4%. Ranchers say this is just the beginning. With the cost of virtually all meats getting out of the reach of American consumers, our pool of choices has never looked so small. It's safe to say it'll get even smaller in the coming year. With the cost of basic staples rising to such unreachable levels, it's getting harder and harder to find ways to save on food costs. Research conducted by food retail company My Patriot Supply earlier this year revealed that 4 in 10 Americans are already skipping meals to be able to provide food for their kids. If anyone had told us back in 2020 that things would get to this point in a span of less than 3 years, we would think that person was out of their mind. But reality has become too hard to believe, and yet we're seeing things getting even more complicated with each passing day. All food that wasn't planted and harvested in 2022 due to the soaring costs of fertilizers, diesel, farming equipment, and extreme weather will be translated into extensive shortages in the year ahead. We have been warned about this for months, and now we're starting to witness just how bad conditions are about to get for all of us. We should all brace for even higher food prices in 2023, folks. What we've seen so far is just the start.